How many of you seen that new HFX presentation though?
Oh, it's fire.
That's not my hand, in case you didn't know. Nah. So, guys, look, check this out. There's 4 phases of growing, right? In business. Four phases of growing in business, right? Number 1 is formulation. Number 1 is formulation. This is when the company is starting to form everything together, starting to get the infrastructure right, trying to lay the foundation just correctly, right? Now, if you're building a skyscraper, right, are you going to build it with a weak foundation or with a very strong foundation? A very strong foundation. Now, in this phase of business formulation, it usually takes about 5 years for a company to do. Most businesses die within the first 5 years. What's the percentage of that? Isn't it 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years? Right? Good thing is, we've already been around, right, since July 4th of 2013. It's been 7 years. So we're beyond that formulation phase, right? So if you ever heard rumor that IM is going down, no, that's wishful thinking for the ops, right? But the opposite is what's true, right? We're knee deep in the game. So formulation, right, is when a company is just getting off the ground. This could take a long time. 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, and they usually fail within that phase right there. So during formulation, companies are also getting to see what is starting to work, right? And that brings it to the second phase. The second phase is concentration. This is when the company is really focusing and zeroing in on what actually works, right? And so once they figure out what actually works, then they actually expand and build upon that. And they start to weed out the things that don't work. How many of you realize, well, let me ask you, how many of you been in IM for longer than a year? It's a few of you, right? And can you keep your hands up? If you've been in for more than a year, just keep your hands up for a second. If you realize that this company is rapidly transforming, keep your hand up. Right? It's rapidly transforming. Right? So the company is concentrating on what works. You see, HFX wasn't even in existence, right, prior to February of 2019. That may surprise people. But the company was strictly Forex and cryptocurrency. It wasn't until people started really catching on to what I was doing binary options, everyone was like, whoa, what is binary options? Who was there when, or who witnessed when my binary option sessions were like 5 people deep, maybe 3 people, 4 people deep, right? And then it grew to a point where like we had to continuously upgrade Zooms, where we had thousands of people on a Zoom, right? It's pretty intense. I think the last major Zoom that we had was over 30,000 people in Colombia. This was a couple of months ago. Joey saw that. We couldn't do it all on Zoom, but we used the feature on Zoom to stream it on YouTube, and YouTube kept reporting it like 3 times. We were overwhelming the YouTube server. We had about 30,000 people watching me trade binary options at once. This thing is huge, right? So the company started to see, wait a second, whatever Nes is doing is working. Let's see what happens, right? I submitted a 6-month history, and I finally got approved to be an educator. At the end of the day, documentation beats conversation, right? And so the company was like, okay, yeah, we see what you're doing. That's cute and all. Show us your transaction history. So I submitted 6 months of my transaction history. Before I was trying to get on as an educator as well, I submitted like 3 months of my transaction history. So they know that not only all my sessions were recorded and they could see how we was really rocking, but they could also see the numbers. And so after I cracked the $1 million mark, that's when I got the call from Chris Terry like, hey, a lot of people are talking about you. There's shockwaves of what's going on. We need to have a binary options platform where we could teach people the basics of binary and have them go on sessions, right? And so lo and behold, that's how HFX was born, right? It was born off of that. So look, concentration is when a company is seeing what works, right? I believe that this company is still in concentration mode. We're coming out with what? The ECX package. How many of you are excited about that? Right? I'm even excited about that. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be trading binary and make my bread. That's my bread. That's my moneymaker right there. But I mean, why not? Why not click and get paid as well? Right? Click a couple buttons to get paid. So the company right now is in concentration. After concentration, though, this is where I want you to pay attention. After concentration, right? The next phase is what? Someone tell me? Momentum. In the momentum phase is when a company becomes a household name, right? I remember when I was a kid and I was still using AOL and Yahoo as my search engine. Google wasn't even out yet. And then when Google came out in 98, I was in 8th grade, right? I'm 34 years old. I was in 8th grade, right? I was like, why is everybody going to this Google site? It looks so weird, right? It looks so basic. I don't get the you got mail. I don't get none of that stuff. Man, what is this? This is whack, right? What ended up happening is now Google is the #1 most visited website on planet Earth. It's to the point where people think that Google created the internet. Right? It's like that's how deep and anchored they are in the game, right? And so look, what happens is a company starts, they formulate, they concentrate on what works, and then they create momentum for themselves where they do become a household name, right? I believe that IM is going to be a household name like State Farm. It's going to be a household name like Fidelity Investments. It's going to be a household name like H&R Block, right? You hear these names and you already know what it is, right? No real commercials, none of that. It's all out there, right? It's going to be a point in time, and this may take another 5 years, 10 years from now, but it's going to be a point in time where IM centers are going to be open in every city, and there's going to be multiple of them. That's how insane it's going to be, because we're doing something different. We're actually teaching people how to trade as opposed to being a firm that trades for you. You know, as long as there's a middleman involved, you're not going to get your full cut. I mean, look at your 401k or 401k depending on your situation, right? What happens is whenever you pull out money, how much do they penalize you? Right? They take out a percentage. Right? So as long as there's a middleman, you're paying money. Now let's talk big boy money, right? When you get to the millions. A lot of people who are generating millions, sometimes they put a portion of the money to hedge funds. Do you know what hedge funds do? Okay? As soon as you agree to get your money account managed by a hedge fund, they take out 20% immediately off the bat. So if you have $1 million, right, in a fund, instantly they made $200,000 on the handshake. They made $200,000 right there. And then when they are actually making you money, every time you withdraw, they're taking out a 20% penalty each time. Right? So you see where I'm going with this? It's all a game. It's all a game. As long as you are letting a company control your money, there are plenty of middlemen involved. What I love about IM is we're giving the power to the people to learn how to trade themselves. So whatever you make, that's 100% yours. Right? The company doesn't account manage. The company doesn't touch your money. We just teach you how to score points in the markets. We teach you the skill set of trading through strategies and so on and so forth. So this is huge because no one is doing it at the level that we're doing. So momentum is coming really soon. All of you right now are perfectly positioned, right? Right now, before momentum hits. It's going to be a point where people you know are going to ask you to join their team. Would you rather have them ask you to join their team or you have them on your team? Right? Momentum is coming. So whether you realize it or not, we all got to get to work because it's coming, right? The fourth phase of growth, okay, is stability. Now, at this point of stability, you're already a household name. You can project your numbers. It's easy to estimate how much sales you're gonna make in a period of a year. It's easy to estimate how many, I don't know, makeup products you're gonna generate in a year, or whatever the case may be. Most businesses that are already in the stable phase, after momentum, they can project all these numbers, right? Right now, we can't even project these numbers because we're growing so much. We're really on the pre-momentum phase, right? So this is concentration, and you have all the power you need, right, to really get ahead of this, really get ahead of this wave. How many of you can't wait to pop Chairman 500, right? It's scary. It's going, like, right now, there's chairmans being popped like if they're 2 and 3 every day, right? It's crazy when you really think about it. But imagine how much more crazy it's going to be in a year from now, where there's a new Chairman 500 being popped every single week, right? It's different. It's going to happen. You see, because it hasn't happened yet, people don't believe that. But that's exactly how people don't believe that Garrett, for example, makes $100,000 a month. They can't fathom that. It's so beyond their comprehension, right? But it's coming. You have an advantage over everyone else, right? Because you know that these numbers are possible. There's people doing it all the time, right? So these are the 4 phases of growth, right? Did everyone get this down?
Yes.
If you didn't, then it goes back to the code of learning. You're only going to retain about 20% of what you hear after a period of 2 weeks. So if you're not taking notes, if you're not at least recording what we're saying here, you're asked out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to talk to you like you're my own family member. If you slacking with this, you're going to slack, period. If I have to motivate you to pay attention and take notes, I'm going to have to motivate you to do the business or motivate you to trade. You got to want this. You got to want this. People in this room right now are making millions. Between me and Lou combined, we're already at a $10 million level. Just us 2 combined, right? So we want you to level up because this is real shit. This is no joke, right? You see the smiles, you see the marketing, you see the banners, and you think that this is some commercial shit. No, this is real. This is real life. And I want you all to make money with us. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm trying to get you to do what I do and take it to a high level, right? Because it's boring to be a millionaire by yourself. When I'm walking outside and I go to Bo, how many of you know Bo, by the way? How many took a yacht with me before? Yeah, I just walk outside, go to Bo, I'm like, yo, bro, take me on the yacht. Boom. Oh, I feel like taking a jet ride. Just smarter. Oh, 3,000 a seat? No problem. Okay. Right? I don't want to do that alone. I want to do that with my peoples. Right? So, 4 phases of growth. How many of you are going to be ahead of this momentum trend?